All right, everyone. Welcome to the Doc and Dog show with Anthony and myself. Today we have a pretty exciting news for Anthony at least, and getting started. So why don't you start us off?
Oh, right, because when we did it on the last one, it hasn't come out yet. Yeah. Well, I mean, you've probably seen it on my Instagram maybe, but I'm fighting Frank Posco March 29th at the Hall Live at the casino in Maryland, and that's going to be for Shogun Fights. So that just got announced. I've actually known about it for probably like 12 weeks out. So yeah, I've known about it for a minute.
You were telling me about it like in January, like close to the end.
Yeah, well, actually, the way this other promotion, Fight World, offered me him on like 2 weeks' notice, and we all said yeah, but it was the event wound up not even happening. They canceled the whole show. So after that happened, I messaged the Shogun Fights promoter because I had like a rapport with him, and I said, would you be down to make this fight? Because my opponent had fought for him before, or for them before, so it's like I'm sure it's easy to work with them, and he's also from Maryland, so it just made sense. So everyone was on board.
Dude, that's sick. What I'm excited about for you is it's kind of a homecoming too, right in your backyard. So it'll be nice to be able to get your old family and friends back there to watch in person, and then people from up here will definitely come watch. So it's only 4 hours, so it's not bad. Baltimore's
hopefully I can sell about at least like a group of people some tickets so that
they can go together.
And just so that I have people from the gym there, because other than like your corners and your person who's like warming you up or whatever, it'll be like a lot of like my family and friends, but like it would be cool to get some people from the gym there too. So and also because there's no pay-per-view stream, so the only way to watch it is it'll be put on the Masson network, which is what the Orioles and the Nationals play on. That's what they broadcast, all the Orioles baseball games, the Nationals baseball games, so it'll be on that channel at like a later date. I don't know.
Oh, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
So like they're not getting any revenue at all from like a live stream or anything like that.
No, there is no pay-per-view. There is no live pay-per-view. So all the revenue comes from ticket sales. So yeah, but it's cool though because that fight will be put on a channel I watched like growing up as a kid. So that'll be cool. Like some random Thursday night at 1 a.m. and my fight will be on, so that'll be cool.
But what's be funny is you might get a future like young fan that's like messing around late at night, be like, oh, I'm just gonna watch like the sports now, because everyone else when we do as kids, like especially we're a sports fan, we'll watch that and just randomly this MMA fight will come on.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how things have changed. Honestly, like I don't know if people like really surf around the TV anymore, because like everyone's got a device and stuff. So hopefully people still do that. But
you actually do make an interesting point. I'm thinking about it in our perspective as kids when we would like watch things.
Mm-hmm.
Like we would watch like when UFC was like on Spike TV or TNT or whatever it was. Like I would watch like The Ultimate Fighter. Like I would scroll through and like that's where it was my first experience. Was like, yo, what's UFC? And then okay, because I remember, dude, watching TV and like literally having like that guide button and just scrolling through channels to try to find something.
Yeah, like DirecTV or
Comcast, just whatever.
Yeah.
Just like I would literally hit guide and then all the channels would come up and then they'd show previews and just trying to find something to watch.
Yeah, dude, I would sit for hours looking at the DVD or look what's on like tomorrow night. Yeah. I don't know. I hope people still do that.
Because it was fun. Like, dude, I remember DVRing like South Park the movie and watching that. Like random things were like, oh, I haven't seen that yet. Oh, let me record that, watch it, and then.
Or like you set that time, like I got to make sure that I'm in front of the TV at that time because I have to watch it while it's on.
Yeah, dude, so many of my favorite comedy movies I've watched doing that.
Yeah.
And like things I've experienced, I'm like, yo, this movie or this TV show is sick. And talking about it at school the next day or in college and being like, it's figuring out to still like of the playing and the prepping and stuff.
Dude, you probably sound old as fuck right now.
Oh, 100%. It's But it's just weird because you are right now in the Netflix, I guess, era, we can call it, people just watch, like, we can literally pull up our smartphone and just watch it.
Yeah, like, if I want to go back and watch a fight, like, I just pop on ESPN Plus or Fight Pass, and I can find any fight I ever want. But, like, back then, like, you either had to, like, rent or buy a DVD or just, like, catch it when it was on TV.
Oh,
you know?
Now you can jerry-rig a random ass, like, YouTube search and find, like, someone who pirated the whole fight, and you can watch it at least for a day.
Yeah.
And find someone else doing it. But yeah, no, so we know that the fight's coming on in March, end of March. So let's talk about like your training for this one. This will be your third pro fight. So like you've had a couple rounds and like, you know, a couple camps already done. Talk about your structure for this fight. Like how are you managing your time and like everything?
I mean, my time is pretty evenly split between, I feel like, teaching and training right now. Obviously when like, you know, you have a fight and like your camps start, you know, you like, you just make sure you're at more practices and you're, you know, you're going to the gym with like a goal in mind instead of just kind of going there, you know, just having fun, you know, training.
It's kind of like we talked about a couple episodes ago where now we already have our tools made, so we're just sharpening. We're not like trying anything.
Yeah. And, yeah, I think just the focus dials in and there's just more of the training. At least for me, that's how I like to really ramp up my training schedule. I like to make sure I'm training a lot. That's how I feel like, prepared to be in there, you know? And, but yeah, sparring a little harder, you know?
It makes sense to like, because Anthony, one thing I respect and like I love about the way you take training is you train hard even when you're not in camp, but you never overtrain. It's like every time you do train though, like when you're saying like, hey, I'm actually going to practice, you practice and give like 100%, but you're never always like in the gym like 5-7 days a week or like, you know, something extraordinary. And then at camp, now you can do that because your body is sufficiently rested to be able to jump into a hard camp.
Yeah, that's one thing I learned when I was out in Arizona with Lucas, being at Tim Welch's gym for a full week. I was like, you know, if you really want to take this sport seriously and be able to compete with these guys at a high level, because these guys are, you know, part of the high level. Like you see these guys at the MMA lab and stuff, and like you have to be training that much, because if you're not, you're just like falling behind. And it's not even like a slow you're falling behind. It's like if that dude's training twice a day, but you can only train like, maybe you can train twice a day, maybe once a week. Like that guy's getting like 4 or 5 more sessions than you a week, and then spread that over 4 weeks. Like that's, you know what I'm saying? So, when I was out there, I realized that like if you want to make it anywhere in the sport, you have to really be training hard, like kind of living in the gym. So I try to do that as much as I can when I have a fight.
And then do you like to do like 2-a-days and stuff, like something in the morning, the afternoon, and then night? Or do you like to do it all in one session? How do you like to split that up usually? A preference, at least.
So like today I'll do a 2-a-day. Like I did grappling practice in the morning, and then I'll go back and do the will striking stuff tonight. So I do like that. But today is like, for me personally, it's just like really hard because we sparred hard last night. Yeah. So like I like go home and I'm like sore, and then I wake up and I'm still sore. Because
it's little glove sparring too. So we do little glove sparring, and then we have hard grappling rounds after.
Right.
Like it's like it's technique, sparring, grappling. So we're like putting our body through the ringer for like that 2-hour span.
Yeah. And then so like last night I get home and I'm like real sore. Then I wake up and I'm like more sore, if not like still the same, you know, because like I got like stiff sleeping for a couple hours. So it like takes me a minute to like get moving and whatever. But and then the grappling practice Wednesday mornings isn't easy at all. I'm grappling with Mike and Vince and Lucas. So like,
dude, but that's the best part though, because we have such good people at the gym. If you get your ass beat during grappling, you know you're gonna be ready for the fight, because you're gonna get tougher people every time.
Right.
So like that's the way I'd rather do what you're doing, man, and feel beat up now.
Yeah.
And then coming into the fight being like confident as hell, and then just getting smashed because I was like, oh, I thought I trained hard.
Yeah. And then, yeah. And I always know that and have that mindset. I'm like, my training partners are like, in my opinion, like for real, like world class, like, Mike competes at a high level, Lucas competes at a high level, Vince too. So, but then like tonight I go back and do it all with the striking people. So I'm like, oh fuck. Like, but after tonight, it's like I get a little break because I don't have to work tomorrow, and then I'm not going to train until like later tomorrow night, and then I'll be like light, So,
and it goes into like our one weekend hard sparring day too. So it's nice that you get a little bit of reprieve, get your body rested, and then you can blast it again and then cycle out. And I think that's the key is like, people don't know how to recover right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, recently, because I just started going back in last week to the gym, I'm coming in this week, ramping myself back up. One thing I've been trying to figure out and going down the YouTube rabbit hole, talking to like our teammates and stuff, is trying to structure balancing going back to the gym or even training camp with recovery and just maximizing our time. So it's like, it's interesting that people tend to neglect the recovery, but it's good to see that you're making sure you have your light days.
Yeah. The best I've felt kind of was when I was taking like regular ice baths, which I haven't ever got back on like a normal schedule of, but I want to. But I would just feel so much better the next day, for whatever reason. I would just feel way better the next day. Like I thought
there's a lot of science behind the ice
bath.
Yeah,
I thought it was like immediately. I say that because I thought it was like immediately after you get out of the ice bath, you would like feel it because like you're getting out of like freezing cold water. But for me, I felt like it was the next day. Like I just felt better. But yeah, I try, and then I've been trying to get in the sauna too.
That's your kryptonite, I like to call. I remember talk about all the time. Like I love the sauna, but I know it's always like, unless it's camp for you, you play.
Well, I do like the sauna. I just didn't like the strip sauna.
I can see that one, dude. It was like, dude, it was the size of this desk. This is the size of this table.
Bro. It was the size of the desk, and it was like so used and nasty, and like I just
put
felt
4 or 5 people at every time.
Yeah, bro. I just didn't want to be in there. And then that motherfucker got hot, dude. Yeah, that was like the hottest sauna I've ever been in. I don't know why it got so hot.
Because I think it was enclosed space, more people, so more body heat and just everything. Because it had the same kind of motor, if not even a smaller motor than I think the one in Zilly and the one in Bridgeville. But there's more space in Zilly, so it needs more time to heat up. And in Bridgeville, of course, that barrel, you have so much room. So it's just like, I think it was just because of the size.
Well, this is science. You can look it up. I read this actually from one of like the weight cutting gurus that has like a doctorate. I can't remember his name, but he was talking about like sauna and like overheating because when I fought Jake Zach, I had like that was the worst weight cut I've ever had. It was because I was like just like consistently overheating in the sauna. It was because we were just like forcing it and like pushing it because like I did a bunch of other things wrong too. But regardless, like I was overheating in the sauna, and that's why like I was like dragging to the scale and like was literally almost dying. But so I was like looking at all that stuff, and I'm like there's no way like the sauna has to be that hot. So actually you only need to have the sauna to the temperature where it's gonna like bead your sweat. You know what I'm saying? Like the hotter the sauna is doesn't make your sweat rate go up.
No.
So
you're right. I noticed that too with like a lot of the dudes, because I follow a couple people on Instagram, like Jordan Sullivan, I believe. I don't know if I messed up his first name, but he did like bulks in Israel's weight cut. He's like their dietitian. They all say the same thing, which it makes sense for both the bath and the sauna. You just need the temperature enough to actually start sweating. And then the key is you just got to continue to sweat.
Yeah.
You don't have to stay in there and kill yourself and overheat. You need your temperature to be a certain thing. But you could go out, bundle yourself, do whatever. But that's the key. We fuck up as amateurs and the uninitiated.
Yeah. Well, that's why, we're freaking out as amateurs. Yeah. That's why, that was supposed to happen. I figured it out then, not now. So, but, yeah, just the hotter the sauna doesn't make your sweat rate go up. So you don't need to be sitting in some like super crazy hot sauna thinking you're like getting more weight off because it's hotter. That's not the case.
No. The key is actually getting your body, like if you want to have a good weight cut, getting your body accumulated to the heat acclimation, sorry. And then, so when you do have to cut, your body's ready and can sweat faster. Because once you get acclimated, you don't need it to be as hot or whatever. And then you can start the sweating and then go from there. And that's why, like, at least for all my Muay Thai fights, for my cuts, we've only done 10 to 15 minutes in the sauna. And then bundle up or do whatever and then go back in and just like.
You've actually done some like legit cuts before, I forget.
Yeah.
So like what was your last fight at?
130.
130.
Yeah.
And you probably walk around the same as me.
Yeah. I walk a little, like when I'm in like better shape, I'm usually like, I'll walk around like 150 to 140. Like right around there, I fluctuate.
Yeah.
And then I know from my cuts.
That's still a hard cut though.
Oh yeah, no. Luckily there have been day before. One actually was day out, but that one I dieted pretty well. I got down to like 135, so I only had to cut 5 pounds a day out. And not even 5. I think I cut a little bit the day before and then the day up. And then the other one I cut from like 138 because I had a day before weigh-ins. And I just did, I started switching from the sauna actually to the bath.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed the bath a little bit more for me personally.
That's why, like, I had done weight cuts in the bath up until I fought Jake Zach, and then just for some reason I just didn't do it in the bath that time. And then
I like structuring it where like I'll do it the night before. Like say I have the day of, he actually even use the day of weigh-ins, whatever it is. I'll do a majority of my cut that night because it doesn't affect my sleep as much as I thought. Like some people, everyone's body's different. I know you want to rest the night before, so you don't want to do it. So I know some people do it all the day of the weigh-ins, even if it is day before, whatever, they'll do it all in that morning or whatever, depending on when the weigh-ins are. But I like cutting the day before just because I mentally just like, I want to make sure I will make the weight and do that. So it gives me enough leeway where in case something bad happens, I can still cut the morning of. So I always like to get at least the majority of it done the day before. And that just makes me sleep better mentally.
I did one fight where I was like cutting the weight like progressively throughout the night.
Yeah.
Like I didn't sleep. I just would like I would get like a pound off, take like an hour off, go get another pound off, take like 30 minutes off, go get like a pound and a half off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I did that a couple of times and honestly that was like I felt fine.
Did you? See, yeah. That's interesting because like I know people say like sleep is so important. That's one thing I think we all neglect the most on. Even if we're fighting or not, sleep is like so important that I always want to make sure like I can sleep the night before.
Yeah, and then I weighed in like running on like no sleep pretty much, but then I slept like all night.
Oh, so it was still day before.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a little bit better.
And I would eat, sleep, maybe wake up to like, if I like had to wake up to like pee or whatever, I would like eat a little more and go right back to sleep. And I slept like so good because I was exhausted. So yeah, I don't know. I haven't done that since though, but
yeah. But I think we're better prepared for this one.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about like your mentality going into this fight. So this is your third fight, Anthony. What are you focused on like to keeping yourself sharp mentally?
I've been like doing stuff like writing things down, like writing goals down that I want to like come into the gym and accomplish that day. Just trying to take it day by day, you know? I think sometimes, especially if you're like goal oriented, like you can get lost in a jumbled up mess of a bunch of goals that you have, you know, or like sometimes you might have to just like break them down. So like that's what I found is the best. I'm like, I'm gonna go in here today, focus, like have no distractions while I'm in here and just have the best practice that I can here. And obviously like there's technical things I want to improve on and add and stuff like that. And but yeah, so like for the mindset, it's just that, like just trying to stay very focused, dialed in while I'm there.
I like keep yourself in the present. I like that idea. I think that is very smart where you're having individual smaller goals every day. So you're focused on your present practice.
Right. And I think it's weird. Sometimes like, especially after this last fight, I was like, well, once it was all said and done and it was over, I was like immediately looking for the next one. But like, it doesn't happen that fast, you know? And then you never know what can happen in life. You know, you might not get another one. So, I've just been like very thankful that I even get to, do this. Like I get to prepare for something that's like, I get to go compete in front of my family and friends. And so I'm just trying to, cherish it, because you don't know how many you get. Like, you don't know how many you have left.
Oh, so, yeah, dude, we can't predict anything.
Yeah. And I like being in camp too. I like being motivated for something. So like once the fight's over, I'm just like back to like in my head, like nothing to like goal oriented,
Dude, 100%. It's so much night and day difference when you're engaged.
Yeah.
Like right now for me, man. So like I'm trying to unlock, and it sucks because I'm falling into a little bit of the perfectionist trap. But right now, I want to be the most efficient guy to get myself back into like training shape as quickly as possible. Like I'm not trying to get a fight anytime soon yet, but I want to be in training shape so I can so I can feel comfortable Saturday sparring, all that stuff, and just, be in the zone. So I've been myself experimenting just like 2-a-days. Like you saw my bag at the house, like, and like hitting pads and then training at the gym and lifting. So I've been starting to break down training sessions into like speed, power, technique now. I don't know if you've ever done that or anything, but it's been a cool, like eye-opening thing for me, where my biggest like strength is understanding where I'm at in any situation and using some, like being technical to get out of things or doing whatever I need to do. I'm not the strongest guy. I'm not the fastest guy. I'm just pretty good at range and knowing like, this is what I have to do, and I can.
You just like never mess up. You just don't get hit clean ever, and then you like fire off little combinations that like some of it's landing. I'm like,
dude, it's funny. 247's Hunter said it best. I actually do now. I'm embracing this. One of the announcers said that like Hunter told him, like, when you're describing myself in Muay Thai, he goes, I'm like the Tim Duncan of Muay Thai. And it's so funny because like he's won, NBA championships. So I'm not like sad, but he's not flashy. Like when you think about like, oh, who's my favorite basketball player? I never said Tim Duncan, but dude, Tim Duncan's NBA Hall of Famer, won multiple championships, and just was always on a winning team.
Yeah, no, he was good.
Yeah.
He was
and
good.
It's funny to think about that. I was like, you know what? That is such a good description, because I'm not fancy. I'm not dunking or anything like that, like dunking the ball or doing anything. But I'm hitting the jabs, hitting the twos, hitting the kicks. And so what I've been realizing is if I can sharpen up small things like speed, a little bit of power to maybe get a knockout or like catch someone, those are things I can work on that like I have room to grow. And the cool thing about those technique-based things where I'm working on power and speed, I'm still building things properly. So it's been cool, like doing some bag things, like a couple rounds here, shadow boxing some stuff. And it's been keeping me engaged now, because it's a different style of practice. Because my goal is, if I can come up with a cool, efficient system, I want to share this with all of our teammates and like other people to be like, yo, when you don't have time, you can still train well. Because I think it's a cool thing where like we have a lot of guys that maybe want to get into like maybe only amateur fighting, maybe some do want to go pro, but they can't or fully commit to train. Not everyone is blessed enough to do that. Like we're both working and training. Like we're even in that same boat. We're like, whatever time we have, we want to be as efficient as possible. So like if we can come up with a cool system, and that's like my immediate goal is like refining this and doing this. So like it's been keeping me excited, which has been fun. Like having something motivate you is night and day.
Yeah, I think the best, cause like, dude, I get big when I don't have fights, but like, always like those first like 2 weeks are just like, you never really know like how you're going to feel and stuff like that. But I feel like the best way to get back in shape is just to be there every day again. Like you just have to be training consistently again. Like,
especially the cardio part of it.
The cardio part. Yeah. Cause like, and then if like for whatever reason you can't, I think the best thing to like substitute that stuff is running.
See, it's funny. I hate running. I would rather, I think, either do sprints, because it's just more efficient with my time, or like cardio based like bag work or like shadow box, and just do like maybe like 5.
I would rather be on a bag than run, but I don't. Even when I lived in Maryland, I had a bag kind of. It was like a standing bag. I hated hitting that standing bag just because it didn't like move. Like
dude, that bag. It's courtesy of Donald Trump during the one of the last COVID. Remember those stimulus checks we got?
Yeah.
It was one of the smaller ones. I think we got at Christmas. I was like, you know what? I'm pretty good on my bills. I don't have anything. Let me get this title bag that's like long ass. Will, I was like, yo, Will, what bag do you recommend? I was like, price isn't an issue because like we just free money. And so I got this like $200 bag.
Yeah, like I'm balling right now. I can buy whatever I want, dude. You know what my favorite bag is? I like the water bag, like the ball ones. You know, where you can uppercut. Them. Yeah.
Yeah. See, my thing was,
but you can't kick those.
Yeah, I couldn't kick those. And at the time when I got the bag, I was relatively new still to like Muay Thai. So I was like, I wanted to get as good as possible at all the strikes.
Right.
But I think now that we're a little bit more like experienced, there's things I want to work on. Like right now, I'm having trouble setting up or finding a good spot to set up the little like speed bag that's good for like flipping and stuff. Because the next thing I want to work on for myself personally, defensively, is add more head movement. That's just another thing. I'm good at catching punches and like shelling and then attacking. But the one thing I'm not comfortable, because I think it's the only downside of me thinking too much and being too technical. I think sometimes I overthink the slipping and the rolling instead of just doing it. Trying to get that bag set up to like, so I can just constantly move my head. And then that's the next thing I want to work on.
They make a bag. I've seen them before. I actually asked Warren if we could get one for Bridgeville, and he was like, "Yeah, just send it to me." And I just never did it. I just forgot. But I'm gonna send that to him so we can get one of those. It's not the ones that are made of water. It's not the water bag.
Like the aqua bags, whatever you call it.
It's like made of like the bag material. So it's like it's actually kind of light. Yeah. So I'm gonna try and make sure I remember to do that. Because he said we can get one of those. You ever see Ryan Garcia hit those Cobra bags?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I want to get one of those too. So hopefully it won't be too expensive. But I'm going to send those to Warren and Zach.
And it actually fits at Bridgeville too, because I remember listening to your coaches, like the latest episode when Warren was on it. And he was talking about like the unique thing about the Bridgeville location is like they have like the biggest striking program. Like their striking program is bigger than the jiu-jitsu or whatever. And that's just funny because I think it fits that like the manager is Zach. And Zach's a striker through and through.
Yeah, dude, the culture at Bridgeville is super cool. I like being there the most, I feel like. I just think the gym's newer, so it's just obviously nicer to be at.
Dude, every time I've subbed as like teaching there, even though it's far as fuck for me, I enjoy teaching it. Like, like I'm always like nervous. I'm like, oh, what are they going to think? All this stuff, because I'm neurotic. I love teaching it every time.
You show up in your Muay Thai shorts and a cutoff, and they're like, "Who's this guy?"
I remember came in with my doctor penny the one time.
But dude, I like being there also because it's just like I don't know. I like the area, like the people that are in that area. Mike used to have a jiu-jitsu class on Thursdays there, but they took that away like a year ago, maybe.
Oh, it was just nice because I was thinking about coming there on Thursdays because it was like. Brittany was going to teach MMA. There'd be like a striking, and then Mike taught jiu-jitsu. Yeah, and then there'd be open mat after.
Yeah,
it was like on Thursdays, and we didn't have advanced at Stout yet. I mean, at not Stout, strict yet. But then they just opened that up. So
yeah, we have so many black belts now. Like there's probably so many teachers to teach everything now.
Oh yeah. So let's talk about a little bit. We've had some interesting UFC MMA like fight news going on. So let's talk about my favorite thing to talk about right now, just because he's one of my new favorite fighters to watch recently, is Topuria moving up to lightweight.
I saw a report. It was like unconfirmed by some like random Twitter account, but like a couple of months ago they were talking about that they weren't going to do Volk versus Topuria now because Topuria was going to go fight Islam, and I didn't know how real it was, but obviously
I guess they got a good source somewhere because now
obviously him vacating the title means he's going to go to lightweight and probably fight Islam. I feel like him going to lightweight to fight anybody else wouldn't really make much sense.
So I think Islam is going to push. So it's interesting. I think there's two perspectives. The champion's always going to be like, not yet. You know, like Merab was saying like, oh, it shouldn't have been Umar, it should have been someone else. You know, like sometimes whenever the fight that the fans want to see or like the UFC wants to see, sometimes some champs are always just like, yeah, they don't deserve it or whatever. And you know what? I do see that side of things where like people have been saying like maybe Topuria should fight like Oliveira or like Armlin or like one of the contenders and then fight for the championship if he wins. just because, you know, people say who they are. But at the same time, to me, because I think it's such a cool matchup, so Poirier versus Islam, I think that should be fun to watch. So I can see, whatever happens, but I can see both, and I think both would be exciting.
It'll be fun to watch, and also there's really not anybody for him to fight, for Islam to fight at lightweight right now, because from what Dana made it sound like, it was like that Arman had like weight issues, and that's why like he pulled out.
So he wasn't gonna make the weight.
I mean, that's what he made it sound like. Like he didn't sound like too like compassionate for Arman, because obviously like Arman probably didn't want to pull out, but and then Arman didn't really like make any excuses, and then so you know it just
they said a generic back injury.
Yeah,
so open, like it could be anything.
Yeah, it was just kind of like a weird thing, and then Dana like made it seem like he was kind of upset with Arman, because when they asked him if he was going to get the next title shot, he was like, no. So
he messed up. It wasn't like a natural injury or anything.
Right. And then that's why I feel like there's really no one for Islam to fight, because like Charles is only coming off of a one win, which was Michael Chandler.
Which, you know, Oliveira was definitely outclassing him. Like he fought him twice. Twice. Like,
and then who's after him?
I would say Arman.
And then who's after him?
It was going to be the winner. Number 3 would be the winner of like Gaethje and Hooker before Hooker had to pull out. But, like,
right. So there's really no one for Islam to like.
It is wild that this is the most popular division like in the world, you would think. Like, you know, universally speaking, in the world, most people would fight at 155.
Right.
I think. So you wouldn't think it would be the toughest, like most popular division, but it's very medium.
Dude, like, I feel like if Conor was somewhat consistent fighting, he would have had a crack at the title by now.
Oh, for sure, dude. Because I think stylistically and matchup wise, when he's on his game, he would have been competitive with. I think he beats Chandler. Like, you know, if they fought, he would have been competitive with Oliveira. He would have been competitive with Gaethje. Like all these guys, like maybe Arman would have given him a little bit of trouble, but Arman has this like grinder style. He's like the 155 Marab, like not as like shoot heavy, but like he's the closest to like a Marab type.
He's got good striking too. Yeah. The Conor now, I feel like I don't know.
Dude, he doesn't care. I mean, here's the thing. He's already accomplished everything he's accomplished. Like it's hard to motivate yourself when you came from nothing and you made millions of like.
And this sport's also hard.
He was the face of the UFC, like more than anyone. Even when he was coming up, like he was selling fights.
Yeah,
he wasn't the best fighter. Like that's what no one ever says. He is the GOAT. You know, like when we talk about GOATs, it's like never him. It's usually John Jones, Khabib, like Henry Cejudo. Like people talk about these double champs, all these other and like Mighty Mouse. All these guys they're the GOATs, but no one's sold pay-per-views like Conor. Doesn't matter who Connor's fighting. Doesn't matter what it is.
He's one of my GOATs.
Yeah.
I've said it before to somebody, but I think he's a GOAT. Dude, like he put the sport somewhere where it was never at.
Dude, you know? he made me a UFC fight fan. True. He was like a southpaw. I was a lefty and just watching this dude just strike. It was like sick.
Just a rib straight left hand.
I know. And just timing things and like playing the psychological game. Because the one thing I always like to mention to people, I was like, is the Aldo fight, where like psychology and mentality really does matter. Like all Conor did that camp was just talk noise on Aldo. Just say stupid shit, get him angry. And then Aldo let his anger, I think, get the best of him because he was super aggressive. Conor timed that aggression. And
I've had people tell me that they just think that like Conor like slipped his movement, like it just hit him clean. It was like kind of lucky, but I'm like, dude, that dude had Aldo so mad, like running at it, you know? And then
dude, he even had Khabib aggressive again. He couldn't capitalize on Khabib, but Khabib was angry with him, like in their fight. Like,
dude, Conor, if you watch that first exchange with Khabib, Conor almost landed like the biggest knee.
Yeah.
But Khabib like didn't put his head super low. He just put it right in like his belly.
Yeah.
But Conor threw a pretty hard knee. If that would have connected, that probably would have been it. But and also Conor in that like initial wrestling exchange, like defended that shot very, very well.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know.
Because the thing with Conor is people consider him a striker and he is a good striker, but I think his best asset was his movement and knowing what he needed, how he needed to hit people, what he needed to do. I wish I remembered who the random Instagram or Twitter bro was, that like had this interesting breakdown of a lot of Conor's fights and KOs where he's like, hey, he knew what he wanted to do, so he set everything up to accomplish that. Like, say he wanted to do like a left head kick. Everything he would do like in that fight would be to set up, like make him go to his left, make everything on the right side, not, be like, oh, no danger on the right side, and then go there to just hit the shot that he wanted to win the fight. And you don't see, like, it's interesting that I haven't seen that as much where like someone came into this whole camp with the one game plan and got to execute like that specific, like one strike KO type thing like, perfectly. It's harder said than done because I think the level is also improved from Conor's time. So people are just ready for it. Yeah. And everyone's studying each other's film. So like, instead of like maybe level 1 or level 2, everyone's fighting level 4 or 5. And then at that point, you're talking about chess at like a high level.
Think about how hard it is to actually be like a KO artist. Like just to find like just the pinpoint of someone's chin every time.
Yeah, because it's not about the power necessarily. It's about perfect timing, I think, and placement.
Yeah, dude, I saw a reel of Conor the other day, just him talking to Uriah about how he beat Chad, and it was just like so sad to see him then and then him now. It's just like,
but I think is the closest to Conor, not at least cutting promos and like putting the UFC on their back, but fighting style and like getting those KOs and executing the game plan. I think it's the Poirier.
Oh, he's the closest one.
Because what I've noticed in a lot of his fights, he wants to get people up against the cage and then outbox them. Like he likes getting to the cage knowing like, hey, I can either do a gazelle punch or this overhand and like get them to go into one of those spots and then go.
He's got like a really him and his brother have like a very like almost flat-footed stance where they're like loading their feet all the time.
Yeah. There's a lot of weight shift between your feet and up. And that's why like going back to Topuria, like one fight I would love to see, because I think stylistically would just be interesting, is Topuria versus Oliveira, because it would be Muay Thai Jiu-Jitsu with Oliveira. That's like his two styles versus the wrestling
and boxing
style. That would just be fun because like that's the number one argument people say. Which spaces do you need? And it's funny that even though Topuria is from like Europe, that style of boxing wrestling is very American. I like to say it's like a very American style. Like we like.
I'm
boxing,
sure that fight will happen.
Yeah, and then it's funny just because Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai, that's a very Brazilian thing because a lot of Brazilians either do Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai. Like a lot of the ones that fight in Thailand are from Brazil, like a lot of foreigners.
Yeah, dude, I feel like that fight will happen just because, like, if either one of them, if Topuria were to go up and fight Islam and lose, Charles would be the next in line for Topuria probably.
Also, and then Dana will, like, if I'm matchmaking, that's the next fight I put.
Yeah.
Because Oliveira needs one more win and then get back into the title fight, and then that's just a good matchup.
So you just don't give Topuria the title fight right away?
No. After, I'm saying like say Islam beats Topuria, and like the next fight I would give for Oliveira and Topuria would be that fight.
And then whoever that could get back at it.
Yeah.
But what if Topuria were to beat Islam? They'd probably run that back.
I think they get to run it back. Two things happen. I think there's two options. I think they run it back. Because I don't know if Islam would want that on his record, but then I could also see a thing where, say, Belil loses to Maladina or Madalena or whatever, and then the 170 title, the 170 thing is open. I could just see Islam moving up, because I think what this Poirier thing moving up and vacating kind of segues into is, I think the UFC is done with the double champ stuff. I don't think they want to hold up any divisions anymore.
Dana said that he's okay with it. I think it just has to be like case by case basis. I don't think they want these guys winning the title, maybe defending it once and then being like, yeah, give me the net. You know what I mean? They probably want you to be like an established champion first, and then also be willing to go back and defend your original title after getting the new one. Because I think like people have won 2 titles, like I think everybody's won 2 titles, but like I don't think anybody's defended the one they went from. You know what I'm saying?
But and then to your point too, I guess the other thing too is that we're getting a little bit of new blood into the featherweight division too. Patricia Pitbull from PFL, Bellator, whatever you want to call it.
How old is he?
But he's old. That's the thing. I'm saying new blood as in like he hasn't fought in the UFC.
Yeah, I was just curious how old he is.
38. Like he's up.
Oh, okay.
Dude, I think he has over 40 fights. Like, dude, he's just a dog. He's just like,
I'm about to look up his topology real quick.
Yeah, dude, it's the Brazilian in him, man. He just loves fighting.
Dude, I want to see more of those PFL guys get released so that they can come to the UFC.
The one I'm interested in is actually Pico.
Yeah.
Because he's young still, and I don't know if he would fight 135 or 145, but both those divisions, he'll just run it up.
Dude, I just saw a video of him saying that, like, he's like begging for his release and they just won't give it to him. That's so weird. Why would you not be getting your fighters fights but not want to release them? Like, what's the point of that?
That's the issue. Unless he's just turning down the fights.
But there's no, I don't even think it's that. I think he's like, these guys haven't been offered fights in like a year.
Okay. Then that would let them release. Because like, I understand the business aspect of it where you don't want to lose your best people, and they're already starting to, but.
He's 36-7. So he has 43 pro fights, and he's 37 years old.
Yeah.
But he is a legend, though. He has, how many title fights does he have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. He has 19 title fights.
I mean, his debut is on the same card as Volk versus Lopes.
Yeah.
Because I think on the off chance Volk or like Lopez gets injured, they'll just move up Pitbull. Like, they don't want to give it to Pitbull right away, but like they're having that like Pitbull fight on that card. Just
I was very confused why they didn't have a backup for Islam and Arman. But it worked out, but because they had a fight on the undercard that they can make weight, but like, why wouldn't they have a backup? That doesn't make sense.
Because they do it for so much. Like, they paid like the guys to do it for like every other fight. Like,
I wonder if they have a backup next weekend for Pereira and Ankalaev.
I wonder who it would be too.
Yeah,
because like Pereira will say yes to anyone. He doesn't care.
Yeah,
dude. If you told him like, hey, Pereira, we're going to move you up to heavyweight. You're just going to fight Jones because Ankalaev got hurt. You'd be like, yeah, I don't care. I'm like,
dude, that'd be sick.
At that time, I guarantee you.
Dude, it's an unpopular opinion, but I want to see John Jones versus Alex Pereira.
And that's the thing. So I understand why some UFC fans are saying like, oh, you got to let Aspinall fight. But like, John Jones doesn't need to let him fight in that sense, because here's the thing. Aspinall is a young up-and-comer. All it is a lose-lose situation for John Jones. So like, in the fight between Aspinall and John Jones, who's selling that card is John Jones. Like, because the average to below average UFC fan that doesn't know UFC or follow it that much, they still know who John Jones is because of John Jones. Like, you know, like him or hate him, all his publicity that he's ever done, good or bad, people know him. No one knows Aspinall, really. Like, we do.
Yeah, no one's buying the card for Aspinall.
But you know who people buying the card for now? Fucking Pereira. Like, so if you have Pereira versus Jones, like, those two will each pull their own weight. Because like, and the cool thing is, like, the fight could be a dud where like John Jones like just wrestles him and like Pereira just like gets, you know, wrestle fucked or whatever. But people still buy that pay-per-view and still enjoy it.
That like, could be like 1 million pay-per-view buys.
Dude, I think that would
today's age, which would be kind of nuts.
I think that would be the most popular pay-per-view since a McGregor pay-per-view. Because I don't think like, I think there's been a little bit of a gap, like not like a bad gap, but like I don't think anyone sold a pay-per-view as much as McGregor. Like thinking about like, there hasn't been any insane fights, except actually maybe Izzy versus Pereira 1 or 2. That could have been.
I think Kamaru versus Masvidal the first time during COVID was one of the top selling pay-per-views ever. Like over some of the Conor cards.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's because people couldn't go anywhere because it was COVID too. Like, you know, like now with like you can go to the casino for free to watch it. Some people just
Masvidal was on fire too. He had a lot of like hype at the time.
And he is a people love Masvidal because he was like that striker that did that like 2-second KO of Askren, like all that.
Yeah, I think his last fight before that, he like beat the brakes off Nate Diaz. So then he fought Kamaru. And then but he did it on short notice, and that probably also helped the pay-per-views. But also Max versus Volk 2 was on there.
Oh, I think both those.
Which Max won.
Yeah. And people
didn't on paper, but I thought he won.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good card.
It sucks that Max isn't going to go back to featherweight now, because I think featherweight would be, like, now that Topuria moved up.
Maybe he will now.
it would be interesting to see like Max, Max, Volk, and Pitbull. I want to see like how that pans out.
Dude, that would honestly be cool. I think he's gonna go to lightweight. Like, didn't he say that? Like, didn't he say he's done at 145?
Yeah, he said that he's just not gonna want to go to because he's old. Why put yourself through those weight cuts?
Yeah, he'll probably feel way better at 55.
Honestly, I would love to see a rematch. I don't think it's gonna happen, but if Topuria and Max at 155,
it could probably line up again.
Yeah,
somehow.
I think it would just be cool to see because like I want to know if the weight cut really affected anyone adversely. Like, and by anyone, just Matt. Like, if he will he look better and feel better at 155 or 145 against Topuria? Because the nice thing is, he still has the reach that he does, and maybe had a little bit more weight and less weight to cut might make him feel better. But I know Topuria walks around heavy as well, so who knows? But that would just be cool to see.
Why wouldn't Poirier step in to fight Gaethje right now?
Maybe he's hurt, maybe he's not. But I think you're right. That's the next thing because like now that Hooker's out, like who do they put in?
And they're 1-1.
Yeah.
But I think they're trying to do a Dustin retirement fight in like the summertime. Is what I read.
Who do they think they want to line up against them?
They didn't say. They just said that it was probably going to be in New Orleans, and they didn't know if it was going to be a pay-per-view or not. But just that.
Oh, so it might be like a UFC fight.
Right. But that'll probably be his last fight. But I think he still has like multiple fights left on his contract. I think he's just retiring. So like, step in, fight Gaethje. It's 1-1.
And then
you would make a bag.
And then fight your retirement fight.
Yeah, and then fight your retirement fight. Which I still don't know if that would finish his contract. So. But as a fan, that's what I think that'd be cool.
Yeah. Because I think Topuria and Gaethje, they can still do it. Unless, who knows, maybe Poirier and Gaethje. Who knows, maybe Poirier is just not feeling MMA anymore. It's tough, like, because he's done a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not easy on your body. Like, he has he has a family, wife, kids, like.
And he's made good money.
Yeah. Because I think he does a lot of, he's split up and like does business stuff too, which is like, I think one of the things that a lot of MMA fighters or anyone pro fighting, like when you have this platform, have this base, you got to branch out and do something that you can ethically get behind. Like, I'm not saying try to scam people, but like, there's something you enjoy, start a supplement brand, start a clothing company, whatever it may, like you float your boat, but you should do something and monetize that platform before it goes away.
Yeah. And, like when those guys start doing that, they probably wind up making more money consistently doing that than fighting. And then when they do fight, if they're like, still have like 3 or 4 fights left, like they're making a good chunk of money when they're fighting, and then they still got their businesses. So
I think that's what the thing with Conor is. He doesn't feel the need to fight because he made proper he invested wherever he invested, and now he's like, I have my money.
He probably didn't need to fight even before he fought Floyd.
Yeah.
He's probably.
I think that was just like something for him to do.
Yeah. Once he beat Eddie Alvarez, he was probably set.
Yeah.
I think I saw an interview where he said like directly after he fought Floyd that he didn't even like
train.
He didn't like check on like the wire or like the money that came into his bank account for like a while because like he was already okay. It
is interesting. Like I would like to see a what if of. Say Conor like on the come up, like when he fought Eddie or Aldo versus Khabib then, like when Conor was hungry and not a champion yet, if that would affect anything or not. And I'm not taking anything away from Khabib. I'm mostly just thinking that Conor's like, he already
Khabib definitely didn't fight the best Conor, but that's also not Khabib's problem.
Oh, that's not his problem.
Yeah.
I'm just curious as like a Conor fan, like if that would make a difference or not. Like could prime Conor beat?
I think it would have made a big difference. If you watched his documentary, like, he wasn't like, I don't know, just like a weird energy like around his training period at that time. And he had like, I think he broke his foot or some shit,
I'm a big component of the mental game too. If you're not hungry to fight, you're gonna get hurt.
Yeah. And also like I feel like he really didn't like Khabib and then Khabib really didn't like him. So like when you bring in that much animosity into a fight, like
it's gonna cloud it.
It's gonna cloud it and they're not gonna fight to like the best of their abilities maybe, Yeah.
But what is interesting is, speaking of like lightweight fights, doing Chandler versus Paddy.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that could be an interesting, like.
What do you think about that?
I think this is one that Chandler should win. I don't know if he's going to, but I think he should.
Really? I feel like Paddy's gonna beat him up.
Paddy, like, So I think with Chandler, because he's just had this layoff and hasn't been fighting people, Paddy is like hotter or like whatever, like, has had more fights recently. So he should be better prepared for Chandler. But I think Chandler presents a bad matchup for Paddy, where like if Chandler wrestles him, does what he wants to do. Like if Chandler's dumb and just strikes Paddy because Paddy's striking or whatever, sure, I think Paddy smashes.
I bet you see a bunch of exchanges where they're clinched up on the cage and Paddy's trying to like climb his back and stuff.
Yeah. Because I do think Paddy's jiu-jitsu is underrated.
Oh, it's super. I mean,
it's very.
I don't know if it's underrated. I think everyone knows he's got very good jiu-jitsu. I think he's a high-level black belt. You ever see those videos where they do King of the Mat at his gym and he's beating like everybody, like even dudes that are like double his size?
People, I don't know if it's because of like his talkativeness or whatever, but people always consider him more. It's funny. People call him more of a striker, but I call him more of a jiu-jitsu. I think like he's 100% jiu-jitsu guy that knows how to strike.
Yeah.
But that's his thing is if he gets off his back, not on purpose, but like he can still come out of it. Like he's dangerous until you knock him out.
And then Chandler's big move, he's gonna jump in the air like a horse when they got their rider on the back. Dude, I hate that. Everyone thinks it's so cool. Like, oh my god, that was the cool. I'm like, dude, he just slammed himself tighter in his body tram because he didn't know what to do.
Dude, yeah,
like it's just so corny. I don't know.
Chandler is a very corny type fighter, so like it's tough. Like I think
he's like sitting there like waving the crowd on as he's getting like 50-45. Like, okay, whatever.
But yeah, now I think this is the best chance Chandler has of winning. I don't know if he will win. And
he does have heavy hands.
Yeah.
So if he lands on Paddy, like you never know.
I was thinking like some kind of like wrestling exchanges into like some overhands. Because even something as basic as that, Chandler could hit one, and like you said, he is heavy-handed. That's what I was thinking in my head. Like, if Chandler's going to win, his path to victory is mixing up shots and strikes, and then just connecting with a nice overhand off a wrestling shot.
Yeah, I think he should wrestle a little bit, and I also think he should not fight like an idiot and gas himself out in the first 3 minutes. I think he should.
He does that so much. Yeah. That's his MO now. And I feel bad because like, I don't know if it's all his muscles too, because he's so like top heavy that he gets to that fast. But
I think he should be smart, and I think he should not gas himself out in the first 3 minutes. And I think he should aim for Paddy's chin, because Paddy does leave his chin in the air. So,
yeah.
But I think that'll be a good fight. And then whoever wins that, dude, what if they're like, whoever wins this is gonna fight Connor, and then we get Paddy versus Connor.
Because that would just sell a card, whatever card they want.
That would be crazy.
Because you could do like, because the UFC picks their favorites with their like divisions and like be like, hey, this championship might not be great to sell a card by itself, but like they could insert like a Paddy Connor fight or a Connor Chandler fight into that, and that sells that pay-per-view, even when you're worried about like the main championship fight.
Oh yeah, dude. Any fight that's on the Paddy Connor card would be underneath Paddy and Connor.
Yeah, dude. And then let's talk about, so like this weekend we have Cop versus Alma Bave.
I don't even know him. What's his
He's
record?
21-2 from Kazakhstan.
How long has he been in the UFC?
I do not know that much. Let me see.
I just saw he got added to the game. That's how I know him.
Yeah.
Because I'd be playing UFC a lot. I like that game. That's probably my favorite.
Oh, so he's been in the UFC since like 2023. He's fought 4 times.
Was 4-0?
4-0, yep. He won by sub in 2023. He beat like Osborne. It was on a Sandhagen card. And then he was on a Madley versus Cheeto 2. He beat Vergara. And then he was on a fight night, beat some guy named Johnson. And then most recently...
Beat my Johnson.
And then most recently, he beat Nicola in October on a fight night card.
Well, so I think that's a good card. I think they should honestly... They should push back Gaethje versus Chandler or Gaethje versus Hooker.
Yeah.
And then grab one of these other cards like co-main or main event and throw that on the co-main. Because I would rather see Gaethje versus Hooker later than not see it at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But like, you know, I think Cop wins. He's just fun to watch. He does a little bit of everything. He's just exciting. It's I forgot who said it. I don't know if it was Coach Mike or Coach Will, but the flyweight division, dude, even though Pantoja is the king of that division, all the fighters are fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like, if you put like flyweight fights on, I think they're always doing something.
Is
wrestling, grappling, striking, but like they're just fun to watch. This is my favorite division. I think it's underrated because people don't talk about it because there's no names, but those guys just put on a show every fight.
I love the flyweights. I was like really sad when there was a rumor going around that they were gonna just like X that division out. So
it doesn't make sense because like when you have other promotions even having a strawweight division like a 115, we should have one like 25. Maybe I don't think we should have 115 in the UFC because that's like too small. We're talking about kids now. I don't think a lot of people are going to get to that small, like worldwide at least.
Yeah,
but like, you know, I think flyweights are fine.
Dude, I mean, I've seen some good 115, dude. Anyone that's a little tiny fast guy, I'll watch. I think that shit's fire.
Oh yeah, dude. Like speaking of like flyweights, a friend of our Jim Lucas's old training partner Poirier was fighting at one in a couple weeks. Like that's gonna be fun in the flyweight division, I believe.
Yeah, that dude's like 15-3, so he's got a real good fight right off the bat.
It's gonna be fun to watch because I remember one time wearing this on me, Lucas and Josh. And I just mentioned to Josh, I was like, yo, you would be fantastic to watch in one. Because like he fits their style. He's such a good striker, all around game. And Josh puts on a show because I'm pretty sure all 5 of his pro fights, they're all finishes, one way or the other. So, you know, he's not going to go to the judge.
You want to know what's crazy? Josh's last amateur fight was against my old teammate, and I was cornering my old teammate against Josh Pereira.
Dude, that's... Yeah, you've also fought Nathan too. Yeah,
and then they fought to a draw.
Oh,
it was my old Bower House teammate Mark Guglielmini. He fought Josh in Kentucky for a title. It was a 5-round amateur fight, and they wound up fighting to a draw. And then like it just turns out that like he knows Lucas, and then we moved up here, and then me and Lucas are boys, and then we're all cool now. So, but that was cool. Yeah, I hope he does well. Good luck to Josh.
Yeah. So then after Cape, it's going to be Bronage versus Marquez.
How is that a co-main?
Yeah, it's because it's one of these UFC fight nights.
I would rather see Ribovics in the co-main event, dude. He just beat Zellhuber at the Sphere. That was his last fight. That was a banger. I would rather be that the co-main.
And it's interesting because like I don't know if these odds are accurate, but Ribovics is minus 300 on ESPN right now, not
really?
FanDuel or anything. But if those odds are 300 or less, like even lower, I think that's good betting odds. I think like. Yeah, even Cape at like minus 210, if that's accurate. If it's not higher than that, that's a good one. Because I think I'll do a parlay of Cape and Ribovics.
What are Danny Barlow's odds?
Barlow is minus 300. So if he's anything like that or lower, I actually like Barlow too on that. But that's going to be a fun fight, dude. Him versus Patterson.
Charles Johnson, he's a fun fighter to watch. The flyweight.
Yeah.
He's always got like some crazy like design in the back of his head.
Oh yeah,
he's a flyweight dude. He's crazy to watch.
Actually. Oh yeah, so it's Johnson. He's only minus 120 versus I don't know his opponent. But his opponent's from Uzbekistan.
He's 18-2.
18-3 on ESPN. Timarov or whatever, or I don't even know how you say it, but like that's gonna be a. Oh, I didn't realize Charles Johnson's so old. 34. Damn.
Yeah, dude, this would be a good card actually to watch.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be one of the better cards for like a UFC fight night to watch.
I would go. I don't know this guy fighting Manel Kape, but I would go Manel Kape. I don't know Corey Brunage or Julian Marquez very well.
Yeah, I got to do a little bit more. Like that one's the tough one.
But then I would go Ribovics, Hyder Emil, Danny Barlow.
I like Emil, yeah.
And then
I like that the fact that Emil is the dog. I think money. Like I like taking the money on the dog for this fight.
Dude, there's so many times I've been betting before, and like I'm like thinking this favorite's like a complete lock, and then it's not. I'm
dude,
like,
the biggest kicking our balls was I forgot that one. What was the card in December? The one of the last named cards where that favorite like just oh no, it wasn't in December. It was in January. It was during like the NFL playoffs. remember that one favorite? He was like the last fight of the prelims. I forgot his name. He was like this young kid that was like supposed to like.
Was it a pay-per-view card?
Yeah, it was a pay-per-view card. And then the fact that he just like got like just lost. It was straight up like just.
He got demolished.
Yeah.
Was he fighting Vicente Luque?
No, he wasn't fighting Luque. I forgot who it was. He was a young up and coming like UFC. Like they're pushing him. He's like a prospect.
Mm-hmm.
He was like a minus 1,000 favorite or something ridiculous.
Mm.
And then he just like got decision.
Oh, it was Payne Talbot.
Yeah, Payne Talbot. Yeah, I forgot. I just for like I don't know why I couldn't think of Talbot's name, but yeah, Talbot. That was like, like that's a great example of
we should have looked into that fight a little deeper and taken a bet on it.
No, I didn't look into it deeper, but just the fact that like sometimes you got to just believe the odds, and if a fight is too good, like too lopsided, like odds wise, it's never worth betting. Like that minus 1,000 or whatever it was, like it's not ever worth. But there's some people that are just dumb. They're like, oh yeah, I'll just throw like $1,000 on it. I was like, you're throwing $1,000 on it
to win $100.
Yeah, like that's not worth it.
Yeah,
like they'll put so much more money on it, being like, oh, I'll win this much back. And I was like,
dude, fighting. I feel like odds like that are just so dangerous.
Yeah,
like they literally take
because they don't help your parlays out, so it's not even worth it to put it on a parlay. They're not good enough to do that, so you just got to avoid it. But people don't like avoiding it. Like that one is just like you either go for the dog because it's like a lot like a legit lottery ticket. Like if someone told me they're putting $5 on a dog like that, or like $10 or $20, $25, whatever, like they're doing $100, whatever they can afford. I don't mind that because that is a literally lottery ticket and they know that.
Yeah.
But like that I can see putting on a dog.
Yeah, $1,000 on a favorite's not even worth it.
Yeah. At least with a dog. Yeah, no, that's the big thing with like when it comes to like these cards and like betting, like when a favorite's too good or like the odds are not on your favorite, it's either pass or go for the dog. Like as simple as that. I think what people have is a lot of recency bias where they're just not okay with losing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like.
Did you see that dude who put like some outrageous amount of money on Wembanyama to win the Defensive Player of the Year, but he is out the rest of the season, so like he's not even eligible for it anymore. Oh, like he didn't play the minimum games for you to be eligible to win an award like that.
So he straight up lost a lot. Yeah. I wonder if they have injury insurance or not for some bets they do, some they don't.
I bet. I feel like the way sportsbooks are, they're just gonna be like, sorry.
Yeah. No, for sure. I could see that. But I know sometimes with like certain types, they won't.
Dude, you know what my bets used to be my go-to bets? I went from like $50 in my DraftKings to like $800 in like 3 days doing this, but I would bet like, you can bet the first inning of a baseball game to be scoreless. And it's 50-50 odds.
Yeah.
And bro, so I did well. I'd obviously lost too doing it, but dude, there was one night I was on my way to the gym, right? And I did a 4-leg parlay of like 4 separate games where every one of them wouldn't score run the first inning, and they were all good. And I had the Pirates one, bro. And I was driving past the stadium, and I was watching this ball like fly up in the air, high as fuck. Yeah. I'm like, there's no way that like that's a home run right now. Like. There's like 2 outs. Yeah. Like I was listening to it on the game, so I knew that like a ball had just been hit. Yeah. But that ball just got fucking rocked home run with 2 outs. I would have won like $250 off of like $25. It's crazy.
Yeah, dude. That's a funny little thing where like you get your juice which way you want to.
Betting just pisses me off, bro. It's not even like the money that you lose, which like sucks to part ways with, but like you kind of accept that when you like like deposit money into your account. But like it just when I would lose a bet, dude, I would just get like mad. I would just get like mad that it didn't work out, like that I was wrong. Like I would just piss me off, dude. Like it wasn't even that I like didn't win the money. It was just pissed me off.
Dude, that's why anyone watching this, gamble responsibly. That's all we could say.
Talk to Mike Wilkins. Apparently he's like a pretty responsible one.
Yeah, dude. I mean, Mike's like our Rain Man when it comes to numbers and gambling.
Yeah.
But numbers and then gambling, both like separately and together. Like
like stats, like gambling, jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Dude, I love it because like I can only imagine how mad he must be compared to the Rain Man thing. Because like I don't know if you ever watched the movie Rain Man, but he's a little bit like eccentric, a little bit on the spectrum. I put him like a genius, but like, he's just like that. Like that's right.
Dude, one of these days,
if you talk to Mike or like look at him face value, no one would suspect that he knows his numbers like a freaking genius. You ask
dude.
people,
And
like,
he can
don't
also
know.
pick people up and just like guess your weight.
Yeah, that's
Like he can just like pick you up off the ground and be like, oh, you're like 186 and a half.
Weeks in a row, he was
okay.
just doing it.
Yeah.
Jetson.
Dude, I think one day we should get we'll do it at the strip before it closes down for good. But we'll get him on.
Oh yeah,
Talk to him.
dude. If we get him and Coach Will on, just,
Same time.
yeah,
Get a little combo.
yeah. Then they can air out their grievances with us too. Just be like, oh yeah, you need to do this better at training. Do this. Just get it all out
we'll
there.
we'll be like Putin and Zelensky at the table.
Well, dude. On that note, we appreciate everyone listening. Have a good rest of your day.
Peace.
Peace.